Oh my god, it says it's 5.8%. I can't even believe it. I mean, like, how can. If the oven preview can get it right, how can this model get it wrong? I've been waiting for months and months to check out the image recognition capabilities of the oven model. And today is the day. All those image based questions that I prepared for oven, I'll be finally able to test it out. Let's do this together. So, starting with the drill, the first question: how many R's in strawberry, snowberry, and raspberry? A very simple question. As you guys saw, it hardly took a second. I think even less than that to come up with the answer. And that is one of the capabilities of oven, that it understands where to allocate its thinking. And that is one of the capabilities of oven. It knows when to think and when not. And the way of response is quite different as well. If you have been watching my video, we have never got this kind of an answer, but the answer is right anyways. One more thing that is new in this model is that it gives a heading to the thinking process. Thought about particular thing for a few seconds. So this is a pass. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is the earnings question. So if you don't know, it's a question that all the models including O1 preview get it wrong most of the time. But mind you, GPT-4o and Claude 3.5 Sonnet, they have access to their interpreters, so they use code to get to the correct answer. But talking about the raw performance of the model, it is quite hard to get the correct answer at the first go. Let's see what O1 does. So for those who don't know the question, let me just explain you. So the question is, I have an initial balance of $100,000. I earn $15,000 per month for every $100,000 increase in my balance. Specifically, each time my balance increases by $100,000, my monthly earnings increase by $15,000. And I have given all the explanation over here. At the end, I have asked, assuming my balance grows month by month based on these earnings, how much will I have after 3 years, that is 36 months? So let's see. So the correct answer is 9,475,000. Let's see. Okay, so we actually thought for 1 minute and 56 seconds, nearly 2 minutes, and I told you right. So it knows where to allocate its thinking. So I think it has calculated month by month. So okay, it got it. It got the right answer, 9,475,000. Absolutely awesome. Let's move on to the next question. So now let's move on to the coding problem. Let's see how it performs. So the task is to create a complete PacMan game without using any external files, just using Python. Let's see how it performs. So usually Oven preview takes a lot of time, but Oven just took a couple of seconds, and this actually worries me how it will perform. But anyways, let's continue. Okay, so we are done with the code. It does look a bit promising if you ask me, but anyways, let's test it out. Let's run it. Okay, so it doesn't work. I mean, like, one of the ghosts is moving, but we can't move the Pac-Man, and also the maze doesn't look very good. So this is a fail, guys. It's very fascinating to see Owen to fail. I mean, like, I think the problem is that it's not thinking enough. I think it should take at least 30 to 40 seconds. Then it will come up with a very good response, which Owen preview usually did. I think OpenAI is has tuned these models to think a little bit less, maybe to cope up with the extreme traffic they might be facing because of the release. Maybe I'll test this question 2 to 3 days after, and let's see how it does. But for right now, this is a fail. Okay, guys, so we are getting into the image recognition questions, and this is actually a very hard question. So it has to count the number of levels, as you can see, right? The number of levels and the number of branches in each level. So right towards the bottom it's easy, but as you go up it's quite hard, and no model up until now has got it right. But this question is not very hard. For a human it's absolutely easy. So let's see what O1 is able to do. So this is the first image recognition question. So for the image recognition we don't actually see the thinking steps. It says no details available. Anyway, let's see if it got the total levels right. So it says the total levels are 6, which is wrong. The total levels are 7. So it got level 1 and level 2 right. That is, level 1 has 1, level 2 has 2. But after that it got all wrong. So I think this is not actually the best performance. I think other models might have performed even better. But anyways, this is a fail, guys. So let's move on to the next question. So this is the image test which we did in the oven leaked model, and it actually passed. So let's ask the same question to this. How many people are there? So the correct answer is 13 people. So let's see, the correct answer is 13, right? Absolutely awesome. It comes up with the correct answer, that is 13 people in the image. So the image recognition capabilities not top notch, but it's way better than what we have currently in other models. So this is a question, when you see this, you might instantly go to the conclusion of 1/4, but the answer is actually wrong, because all these four sections are not equal. So it's not 1/4, it's actually 19.56%. So actually we didn't have image recognition abilities for the O1 models, so I actually converted this question into text and I was using it in benchmark. But this is the actual Olympiad question, and let's see if O1 is able to get it right. Let's just ask the model, give me the solution. Let's see if it's able to recognize that the answer is not gonna be 1/4. Okay, so it quickly jumped into the conclusion that it's 1/4. It's an absolute fail. I mean, like, the question is also very, confusing, but I think it's an Olympiad question and I just directly used it, so it's a fail. So now actually, use the text version of this question and let's see if the model is able to get it right. So this is the same question. Three vertical line segments are equally spaced and they divide only the diameter into four equal parts. What percentage is the area of the last chord compared to the whole circle? So even O1 preview model, O1 mini model, and many state of the art LLMs have got this question right a few times. So I think O1 should also be able to get it right. Oh my god, it says it's 5.8%. I can't even believe it. I mean, like, how can. If the O1 preview can get it right, how can this model get it wrong? I have no choice. Let's actually use O1 mini. See, you can see this. It's O1 mini and it got it right. 19.6%, and it's the complete O1 model and it got it wrong. Let me try it once more. I can't even believe it. I mean, like, there is something going wrong with this model. I mean, it was performing very good at the start, and now O1 is taking time to think. I think now it will come up with a good answer, maybe. Let's see. See, now it gets it right, 19.5%. But still, the answer is close to 19.56, but it's way better. I mean, these models are very variable. And don't worry, I'm actually coming up with a solution to test these models reliably to actually see how good these models perform. Meanwhile, let's continue with the testing. So the final question, seating arrangement question. It is one of the hardest questions and no model was able to get it right until O1 preview got it right in the previous video. So the question goes like this. 8 friends A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H are to be seated around a square table. So I have given this depiction to better understand. So the seats are numbered 1 to 8. Those in seats 1, 3, 5 and 7, that is the corner seats, they face towards the center, and those in the seats 2, 4, 6 and 8, that is the ones who are sitting in the middle seats, they face outwards. G is already seated at seat 1. So G is already seated at seat 1 and there are various conditions which it has to follow, and at the end it has to answer that following all these restrictions how many seating arrangements are possible. And you can't just rotate this to get the seating arrangements. You have to actually move people so that the relative position changes between them. So the correct answer is only two seating positions are possible, that is I've mentioned here. You can switch H and E, and that is how you get two seating arrangements. So let's see if the O1 model gets it right. I mean, like, the O1 model feels like a lackluster to me. Sometimes it's performing phenomenally good and sometimes it's getting things wrong. I think that O1 Pro mode, which is available in the $200 ChatGPT Pro subscription, will get most of these right, because by default it will take a lot of time to think, maybe a minute at least. So it's absolutely got the question wrong actually, because you can't make D sit at seventh position, because no matter how you count, seventh position comes at the middle. When you have placed G at one of the corners, 7 will come at the middle and D is sitting at one of the corners. You can see this condition. Let me highlight this. Both of D's immediate neighbors face away from the center. So if both of D's neighbors are facing away from the center, D has to face the center and has to be one of the corners. So the third option is directly invalid in this situation. So what can we say about this model? It actually felt like a mixed bag, which I didn't expect, given that it's actually the full version of O1 preview and it should perform better. But when it comes to the max question, whether it's generating the PacMan game coding problem or the seating arrangement, it constantly gave the wrong answer. Few things to note is, we actually see improvement in image recognition, that is undisputed. Other thing, we also see that how much time the model allocates is actually way different than how oven preview does it. But I don't think it's actually good in all ways, because yeah, for some questions where more time was not required, it took less time. But in many questions where actually if the model thought for a few seconds more, could have come up with the correct answer, but it didn't. You saw for the coding question, it just thought for a couple of seconds, which I think if it had thought for maybe a 1 minute 30 seconds or more than that, it could come up with a very good response. So I do think that optimization of this model is going on, maybe GPU transfers, I don't know what, but maybe after things settle a bit, we might get a good response from Oven. So I'll be actually benchmarking this model, coming up with a long-term review of it. So stay tuned for that. And also, if you like this video, do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one.